Hi, welcome to the Art of Yoga with Cat Justice, and this video is part of my Yoga for Lower Back Pain series that I'm doing. This one is for people who have a diagnosis of a disc bulge or sciatica. Sciatica is the pain that our friendly neighborhood sciatic nerve can give us that travels down the back of the leg, sometimes all the way down to the foot. And those of you who've experienced it know what I'm talking about, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, just mark yourself lucky. But if you've got a bulging disc, this is a yoga sequence that's designed to be therapeutic to help kind of push the disc back in place. This is not going to be necessarily therapeutic though if you have a full-on herniated disc. If the disc is herniated, or extruded is another name for it, it means that the nucleus, so the sort of center part of the disc, has pushed all the way out, and some of the poses that we're going to be doing, particularly things that back bend, that extend the body, which on just a bulging disc help to push the disc in place. If that disc is extruded, it could pinch. So if you're back bending and it hurts, you stop. If you back bend and you're like, ooh, this feels good, then you keep going. So let your body tell you whether it's good for you or bad for you. But that said, even if you've got a full-on herniated disc, you can still do parts of this sequence. I would just say let pain be your guide and beware of the back bends. But that said, let's get started. So you can come onto your back, and you might want to have, for the end of the practice, a bolster, a block, and maybe a rolled blanket or a second bolster handy if you like to do restorative poses at the end of your practice, or maybe just a pillow for under your knees if that's all you want. That'll work too. But we'll start out on our backs. Hi. Lotus is very lucky. She has a very healthy spine, so she doesn't need this, but she likes to be around anyway. So we're going to start on our backs. You can take your feet wider than your hips and let your knees drop together. And go ahead and place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. I don't think people can see when you're in the way. Or you can place a cat on your belly. That works too. From there, you're going to close your eyes. And you want to feel your breath dropping down into the belly so we can get that nice low diaphragmatic breathing. As you breathe in, maybe you feel a little bit of a massage through your lower back, feeling the breath moving into your lower back. As you breathe out, let everything soften a little deeper, let it drop, let your back drop into the floor. Slowing the breath down. Releasing any extra tension from the neck, the shoulders. And then opening the eyes. And from here, now you can step your feet so they're a little closer to hip distance apart. And we're going to start with some good old pelvic tilts. So as you inhale, you're going to rock your pelvis forward, and you'll feel your lower back arch away from the floor. And then as you exhale, you're going to rock the pelvis back, and you'll feel your lower back press down into the ground. Comfortable movement, doesn't have to be big. Inhale, gently rock forward, and exhale, gently rock back. Again, if it hurts at the extremes, just make the movement smaller. Moving with your breath. Inhale, rock forward, and exhale, rock back. Moving with the breath. Letting the rhythm of your breath slow your movements down. We're building some deep core strength to help control the spine. And we're also helping to mobilize, getting that kind of increasing that range of comfortable motion that our lower back can have. And then from here, go ahead and relax down to neutral. So now you think not totally flattened, not totally arched, halfway between the two. And you're going to use some strength in your belly to help kind of hold it neutral. If you're not sure that you're doing it, you can always slide your hands under your lower back, and you should feel just a little gentle pressure onto your hands. And don't let that pressure either kind of be lost or don't let it increase. So just a little gentle pressure on the hands. From here, we're going to do some nerve glides. So you can bring your right knee up. It's okay to keep your left foot flat on the floor, or you can extend the leg long, whatever's more comfortable. From here, you're gonna point your toe and you're gonna reach your leg up towards the sky. Now maybe you've got super flexible hamstrings and it's easy to straighten the leg. Maybe you're like, ow, I feel that sciatic nerve, it's not happy. If that's the case, keep the knee bent. And then from there, you're gonna exhale and draw the knee in towards the chest. Maybe you're gonna use your hands to help you. And as you do that, you'll pull your toes back. So inhale, reach it up, point the toes, exhale, pull it back, hug it in. And really when you do this flossing movement, this nerve glide or this nerve flossing, you don't really want to feel very much at all happening. So you don't want to feel a deep stretch. You want to stay kind of under the sensation. So maybe that means that it's just little tiny movements of the knee and the foot. It's just about getting the knee and the foot to move together so that we stretch one end of the nerve, stretching at the foot, and then we stretch the other end, stretching at the hip and the knee. And then go ahead and switch sides. So you can take your right foot to the ground, draw your left leg up, and then from there the right foot can stay where it is, or it can straighten, whatever's more comfortable. Again, if you want to monitor what your back is doing, you can do this whole thing with your hands under your back. But as you inhale, you're going to point and reach, and exhale, flex the toes and draw back in. If it feels more comfortable to interlace the hands behind the thigh to kind of help support the leg, feel free. Inhale, point and reach. Exhale, toes pull back and the knee pulls in. And this side might be really different than the other side. So disc bulges tend to have a favorite side, or makes us have a least favorite side. So it tends to be a little bit more extreme on one side than the other. So just staying within whatever range is comfortable for your body. And then gently release. And then from here, we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee, and we're going to stretch the piriformis muscle in the right hip. So some of you might want to just stay right here if you're already feeling a deep stretch in your right hip. You don't have to do anything more. If you're not feeling much and you want to go a little deeper, you can lift that left foot up, reach through the gap in your legs to take hold of the left thigh. And now, hopefully feeling a stretch in the right hip. If you want to make it deeper even, shift the legs over to the left. If you want to make it a little gentler, shift the legs to the right. Your body will tell you kind of where the happy place is. But as we stretch that piriformis muscle, the sciatic nerve, for most of us, runs underneath the muscle. Some people, the nerve actually pierces right through the muscle. But either way, if that muscle is tight, it's going to be putting pressure on the nerve. So we want to do a comfortable stretch, not an uncomfortable stretch. So find that kind of comfortable edge so we keep motion in that muscle, but we don't pinch the nerve in the process. And then taking the other side, switching the legs, now cross the left ankle over the right knee. And again, left to right might be different, so maybe you want to stay here, or maybe you want to see what it feels like to reach through the gap in the legs. You can shift to the left to make it gentler. You can shift to the right to make it a little bit more extreme. And you can breathe. And again, just finding that deep but comfortable stretch into the left hip. And then from there, release the legs and come on down. And now we're going to roll over to one side and carefully, gently make our way on up to hands and knees. On our hands and knees, it's your favorite lotus. We're going to do cat. You're going to spread your fingers, take the hands right under your shoulders, knees right under your hips, and moving through your version of a comfortable cat and cow. So that might mean that you do really little movements. So as you exhale, you're going to round the back and drop the head gently, but maybe this is as far as you want to go. As you inhale, you're going to take it into cow, into that arch back, going only to a comfortable distance here. So if you've got a bulging disc, most likely when you flex your spine, when you bend forward, that's when you feel pain. If you feel pain, it's your body telling you that your disc is pushing on a nerve, and it's not a good thing. So you stop. You respect the pain. Inhaling for that gentle arch. Exhaling for that gentle rounding, maybe barely moving at all. Maybe it feels okay to take it into a full cat. But again, just find your comfortable edge and don't push through it. If you've got one of those fully herniated discs, maybe it's cow that's uncomfortable. Maybe this arching of the back is what doesn't feel good. So you're just going to move through your comfortable range, but stay with your breath. And then kind of like how we went from the pelvic tilts to finding our neutral spine, now we're going to move from cat and cow to our neutral. So you're going to find your flat back or your tabletop, and then you're going to tuck your right toes under and slide your right leg back. As you slide the foot back, you want to keep your hips nice and level. So the hips stay level, and then you're just going to slowly start shifting some weight off that right leg. As you do that, you want to feel your belly button just gently drop towards your spine to help give your back support. Maybe you just take the weight off the leg, maybe it floats. If that right leg is floating and your hips are level, you're going to notice that you have less weight on your left hand. You can stay there, or if it's comfortable to reach, breathing here. So we're engaging those core muscles in the belly and in that standing hip, actually in the lifting hip too. All of these core muscles that are going to help unload our spine, that are going to take the pressure off the back. Breathing. And then come on down, and we'll take the other side. Left toes tuck, slide the leg back. Take a moment to just feel that nice little calf stretch. And then you're going to slowly start shifting the weight off that left leg, but without moving the hips. So the hips stay level. Nothing really moves except maybe that left foot starts to float. If you've got the hips level, you'll notice that you have less weight on your right hand. Maybe you reach through that arm. Maybe you don't. Doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're able to keep your hips and your pelvis steady and stable, that you're able to breathe, that it feels good. These are the things that matter. And then exhale, gently release down. From here, you're going to take your knees wide, toes to touch, and you're going to sit back. Maybe you just sit back to here and breathe here with a flat back. If it's comfortable to take a child's pose, maybe you want to come down. Breathing into the back wherever you are, whether you're all the way down in child's pose or whether you're lifted. You want to see if you can feel your breath moving in your back like a massage. As you inhale, the back's going to expand and open. As you exhale, it will soften back in. And then here is where, if you have a herniated disc and extension, that back bending motion doesn't feel good, this is where you might want to just fast forward the video until we're not going to be doing back bending anymore. Otherwise, for those of you that the disc is just bulging, this is going to be really good. So we're going to come forward for heart chakra Anahatanasana. Let your arms reach forward, hips stay over your knees, the head gently touches the ground. If that's a little too intense, you can bring a block under the head or stack fists. But you're letting your heart sink towards the earth. From here, keep the elbows on the ground and gently come forward into Sphinx pose. Elbows come under your shoulders, fingers spread. You're going to lift from your breastbone so that we're not crunching into our shoulders. And we're going to soften through our lower back. Again, this should feel good. If this hurts, don't do it. Breathing here. And then you're gently going to lower down. From there, go ahead, fold your hands and take your forehead down onto your hands. And as you breathe, again, feel your breath massaging into your lower back. Feel it expand and open on the inhale. Feel it soften back in on the exhale. And then we're going to move into Salambhasana, locust pose. So you're going to point your toes, reach through the legs, like you could reach your legs out through the wall behind you. And then you're going to gently bring your arms at your sides. As you lift just a little bit, think less about lifting up and more about reaching. Think about creating space and length, particularly in the lower back, but really throughout the whole body. Breathing here, create length. And then fold the hands and rest the head down. Once again, feel your breath into your back. Maybe you want to shake your hips side to side gently, loosening up the back. And then once again, taking locust, reach through the legs, reach through the arms. Feel that lift. Make sure you're breathing. Create space. And then release it back down. Sway the hips if that feels good. And then from here, we're going to come back up into Sphinx once more. Bring the elbows back under the shoulders. Spread the fingers. Feel your lower back soften and feel your heart lift. If it's too intense, come back to locust or just come back to that breathing with the hands under the head. And then from here, you're going to just replace your elbows with your hands. And you're going to lift from your hips, rise it on up. It's normal for the lower back to feel pretty tight, especially if you're not used to back bending. So maybe you want a couple breaths here on hands and knees, or just stay like this. Or if child's pose felt good before, it might feel extra good now. You can sink back and rest in child's pose. Wherever your body is, you're just going to direct your breath into your back, and again, feel it massage. And then from child's pose, we're going to move to standing. So from here, very carefully, we are going to step forward into a forward fold with super bent knees. Feet hip distance apart. Bend your knees as deep as they can bend without your heels lifting. Let your head rest down. And then we're going to reach the heart forward. Take the hands to the hips with a flat back. We're going to rise on up. Nice. Holding in from the belly. Keep that core to support your back. When you rise on up, breathing here, go ahead and take the hands gently to the lower back, and if back bending feels good, we're going to lift up and back for a gentle heart opener back bend. Maybe the elbows gently pull back, think lengthen the spine, and inhale, rising it back up. From here, go ahead and shift your weight over onto the right foot. And you're going to step your left foot back for warrior one. Just a comfortable stance. Bend through the front knee until you can see the big toe to the inside. And we're going to reach up through the arms. Feel your feet grounding into the earth, finding kind of all four corners of the feet. If your feet were roller skates, where would the wheels be? Those are your four corners. And feel free to stay here. Or if you want to move a little bit deeper into that heart opener, into the back bend, you can hook your thumbs, so you make like butterfly arms, and you're going to slowly, with control, lower that back knee down and take it into a crescent moon lunge. Breathing here. And then to come out, if you've got the strength to tuck the back toes and lift up from the back leg, feel free. Otherwise, you can use a chair or something to help get back up. And then we're going to step forward and come back to mountain pose. Feel the feet ground. Again, find your roller skates. Shift the weight to the left foot. And inhale, right foot steps back into warrior one. Back foot is angled forward so that your hips can angle forward. Bending the front knee until you can just see your big toe. Create length and create strength in the legs, and then softness in the arms and the spine. You can stay here, or you can make your little butterfly. And exhale, gently lower the back knee down. Finding that gentle back bend, that heart opener, crescent moon. And then from there, if you're in crescent, go ahead, tuck the toes. Lift back up, feel the strength in the back leg helping to lift you up. And then exhale, step it forward, coming back to mountain. Once again, hands to the hips or to the lower back. Inhale, lifting back and up. Find that gentle back bend. And then exhale, hinging with a flat back, bend your knees. And come on down onto your back. Come all the way down to rest back onto your back. From here, as you come onto your back, go ahead and grab your bolster or a pillow or two, or a couple blocks, just something that can prop your feet up. So you're gonna have your feet propped up, so this way that when we twist with our feet propped up, the twist isn't gonna go into our lower back as much as it's going to go into our mid, upper back rib cage area. So you're gonna let your arms open out comfortably at your sides, and then go ahead and just very gently let your knees roll to the left. As the knees roll to the left, maybe you want to take your gaze to the right if that feels good on your neck. If this is too intense, just lift the knees a little higher. Making sure you're keeping both shoulders on the ground. Breathing into the spaces in your back that feel like they need it. Breathing into anywhere that feels tight, that feels tender or tense. And then inhale, bring it back up. And exhale for the other side. Maybe turning the head. And inhale, coming back up. And maybe we're set up for a really nice Shavasana right here. You can just take your legs down onto the bolster and hang out there. Or if you've got the extra stuff, maybe you want to set up for a restorative heart opener. So if that's the case, you're going to take your bolster and your block. I like the middle height for the block, but you can play around with what works best for you to make a nice little inclined plane. And then if you've got another bolster or pillow or rolled up blanket for under your knees, that can be really nice too. And you're going to scoot up so that your sacrum, your very lower back, is right up snuggled against the bolster. And then you're going to lie back. Some stacked blankets work great as well. You can use those. From here, arms are going to rest out, palms facing upward, and you're going to let your back just melt into the support underneath you, whether it's the floor, bolster, blankets, whatever it is. Eyes are closed, let your body get heavy. And once again, feeling your breath dropping down into your belly. Feeling the belly expand and open on the inhale. Feeling it soften back in on the exhale. When there's back pain, we tend to stop breathing into our belly. We tend to get that sort of stress breath that gets caught in our chest. And when we do that, we cut ourselves off from deeper core strength in the belly. We also increase pain because it increases our fight or flight or our stress response if we breathe into the chest. But it helps to decrease pain, and it helps to keep our core available to us if we can find that lower diaphragmatic breath, belly breathing. As you breathe here, maybe you can take this time to thank your body for practicing yoga with you today, maybe thanking it for teaching you something. Oftentimes when there's pain or dysfunction in the body, it's not always a fun thing to learn, but you can use it as an opportunity to learn more about your body and what it needs. Learn more about what it's like to have to scale things back maybe. Have to move slower and with more mindfulness. And feel free to stay here in Shavasana as long as you need. You can pause the video, you can put on some relaxing music, you can enjoy the silence. And when you're ready, open your eyes, wiggle fingers and toes, and gently roll to one side. You can rest on your side for a few breaths. And then as you feel ready, you can come back up to sit. Sitting nice and tall, balancing heart over hips, head over heart. Thinking about kind of creating more length and space through the spine, but without gripping. Think of creating kind of that helium effect, that effortless length. And I hope your back is feeling awesome. I hope you're feeling awesome and that this video was helpful. I've got lots of others on my YouTube channel. Feel free to check them out. And there's more to come in this lower back pain series. So get ready. Namaste.